Hello there, it's Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you one of our brand new die sets called Oh So Scary Gnome. It is super cute. It makes a witch and a ghost. You can see the entire die set here and the ghost and the witch I'm going to show you how to make today. Now, if you recognize this gnome, it's because in the spring we had the springtime gnome die set. It made a few different gnomes and holding different things like this one right here. And so now we have an add-on to that, which is Oh So Scary Gnomes. And one of the things I used from the spring gnomes is the shoes. I put them on the witch. So you can mix and match these things and have a lot of fun. First, we're going to take a look at all the die cut pieces there are to make the witch. Now, this tiny little die, the top 3 dies are for the face of the ghost, but the bottom one is the smile for the witch. This creates hands. You'll use this also on both the witch and the ghost. And then we have the hair for our witch, a little spider to hang off the hat, which I think is so adorable. Love is in the details, and that's the detail in this one. Okay, so here's the witch's hat, which we'll also use for the ghost. There is like an oblong piece that is the back of the hat. There's the band for the hat and the buckle. This weird looking thing is not a flower pot. That's the witch's dress, which is all like crumpled up on the floor. Then we have a piece to create the sleeves. You can do just one arm or 2, however you want to do it. Then we have a crooked stick for our broomstick. I die cut it out twice to make it more sturdy. And then there's a tiny little piece on the end. That's the part that's going to go right where the kind of broom bristles are tied to the stick. Okay, now I like to do this with my die cuts, which is a little bit of shading to give them some shadows that just kind of brings them to life. So I'm going to do that. I have Welted Violet Distress Oxide ink here and a mini blending brush, and I'm just putting that around the edges. I'll dust on the top of the shoes, which is this die, remember, from the Springtime Gnomes. Add our original die set. And then for the nose, I did all the skin pieces, kind of a dark green, and I'm adding some peeled paint for a little bit of shadow, and I'll add that onto the braids right where, or I guess they're ponytails, but right where that little bow will go to add a shadow. I'll do that on both pieces. And then a little bit of shading also on the bristles of my broom with gathered twigs. And this is just coming together so cute. I think my gathered twigs is a little dark because I had previously used brown on that brush. Okay, now on that piece that's the back side of the hat, I added the biggest oval, which is the face of the witch. And then I popped up the nose, and then onto the same piece, I'm gluing on the little ponytails right on either side of the face. They get pretty close up there, and you can just follow the line of that oval piece, that oblong piece that's the back of the hat, to glue on those ponytails. Then I added the little smile, which I die cut from black glitter cardstock. All the black things I die cut out for this witch are black glitter cardstock. Then it was time to glue on the front of the hat, the main hat piece, then the hat band, and the little buckle, which I die cut from some gold mirror cardstock to make it really nice and shiny. So this is coming together so cute and so easily, don't you think? All right, so then we'll add on the little bows. They have embossed detail in them, as well as some other pieces in this die set, which I also really like. So there we have the little spider hanging from the hat. I love it. And then I'll just glue the head onto the dress here. I had to redo it because I didn't get it filmed the first time. So if it looks messy with glue, that's because I peeled it off and did it again. And then I'm adding on the hand to the arm that will be on my right-hand side, which is her left-hand side. Yeah. That's the one that's going to hold the broom. So I put a little glue on the hand and on the bottom of her dress, and I'm just going to have it angled there so it touches both. That'll help it be more sturdy. And then we'll add the bristles. I'm sure that's not what it's called. You know, the end of the broom. Yeah. All right, and then we have that teeny tiny piece, but it really makes a difference. Now, if you just can't handle teeny tiny pieces, you could just color that part with a marker. And then I'm adding another arm on the other side and another hand. You could just do one. That's what the packaging shows, but I kind of liked it with 2. Now, the biggest Okay, there in the hand die set, there's two small pieces. The bigger of the two small pieces is the one I used to make it look like the broom is in her hand. I popped up the shoes at the bottom of her dress, and then I have everything put together. So now it's just time to go ahead and add some highlights, which I'm doing with a white Jelly Roll pen, which is size number 8. It's kind of my go-to favorite size. So there you can see all the white highlights I made, and now we're going to move on to building our ghost. Here's all the pieces. Now I did mostly white glitter paper for the hat band, the body of the ghost, and the sleeves, which I forgot to have in that previous slide. This die creates the sleeves. And then for the beard and the hands, I did white cardstock, but for the two ovals that make the face, I kind of did it off-white, and then I'm using a little vanilla ink to kind of add a shadow on those. And then we'll put everything together. So the body of the ghost is going to get glued down right to the hat, kind of where the hat comes in. And then you see the triangles of that hat are going to stick out. That's totally fine. I glued on the face there, so half is on the body, half is on the hat, and then popped up the nose. Even though I didn't show it there, I did pop it up. And then I'm putting a foam square on the bottom of the beard, but gluing the top part down to give it a little bit of dimension at the bottom, but then also I like it glued down for this part where I'm adding on the hat band, and it just fits right over the top of the face. It works really easily, fits on really well. And then we'll add the sleeve. So the bigger part of the sleeve is going to be sticking out, you know, because he's wearing like a sheet. It's, you know, going to be drapey. So have the draping end facing out, and that gets glued onto those pointy parts of the hat. And then I added the hands, and you can play around with the sleeves or arms and have them be angled straight out, kind of like here or down. Also, you can customize this by having that little mouthpiece be the other way around, so it's more like a smile. And you can do that also by how far apart you put the eyes, how high up on the hat you put the eyes, or how far down. All right, next it's time to add our little jack-o'-lantern treat pail, and I'll glue that to the hand. And then the smaller of the two hand pieces, the extra hand pieces, I'm going to glue on there to make it look like he's more holding the bucket instead of it just stuck to his hand flat. So you'll see that here. Almost forgot that piece, and it, however you want to stick it on there that best fits the bucket, do that. All right, so there's my two ghosts. You can see the difference in the mouths and the eyes, how just by changing those up a little bit, you get a completely different look. Okay, now it is time to make a card for each of these. So I'm going to start out with a card for my little gnome witch, and I have some black cardstock here that's like what I would call mostly black, but it is not quite dark enough. So I just took some black soot distress oxide ink and ink blended with my blending buddy brush at the top to make it a little bit darker. I'm going to create a sunset to go behind this, so I thought it was appropriate for the top to be a little bit darker. And then I die cut it out with the tree frame in the A7 size, which is just perfect for this gnome. Okay, so here I'm showing you all the colors I am using to do ink blending. Didn't realize that the camera was not recording when I ink blended that. So here's a little bit of recording where I'm just touching it up, but I just worked these colors together until I got it how I wanted, and I wanted to make sure some of that purple was showing at the top. So yeah, I just did that, and then on a little bit of spritzing for splatter, which I love, especially for a night sky, or anytime I use distress oxide ink, really. And then I'm going to use some ink on 3 liquid pixie dust and a scraggly brush. Now, when I do this, I like to take the brush and drag it on the edge of the window sheet, and it gives me a really fine mist. I don't have big droplets. I really like that fine mist of shimmer sometimes. It's a little bit more subtle. All right, I was a crazy person and used like 100 foam squares. On the back of this because I really wanted it popped up, and then I popped up the witch, but there's a few pieces where she'll overlap the tree, so I just added glue there, and then she's gonna sit right there, and it's a quick and easy scene, and especially with, you know, no ink blending. I actually did the ink blending, you just didn't get to see it. Okay, so next I'm adding a sentiment here from our brand new Simply Sentimental Halloween set. I love this. So I stamped out the word Halloween and I colored it like I'm doing here, but with green Copic markers. And then for this sentiment, I'm using some purple ones, kind of giving it an ombre effect. And then I'm going to cut my sentiment apart and put you can't see it there, but I'll show it to you in a minute. Before I glue anything down though, I wanted to add some bats. Now these two bats are actually in this same die set with the gnomes, the oh so scary gnomes. So I cut out 6 bats and just arranged them around my sentiment, gluing everything in place, and then adding this to an A7 size card base. So that is a 10" by 7" card folded at 5 inches. So there you can see my finished card for my gnome, which love how it turned out. And now for the ghost card, you are going to see the ink blending. I'm using some Kitsch Flamingo right through the middle of this card, and that's going to be the color that's overlapped on either side by the Spiced Marmalade and Wilted Violet. So I just really love the softer colors for Halloween. Also, I mean, I love traditional, but you throw in like some pastel pink and purple and green together. I think it's just so cute. And if you like that look too, you should definitely check out the new embellishments in the shop. We have some pastel ghosts that are so fun for that kind of Halloween look. All right, so next is the Wilted Violet coming in from the top, and you can always just go back and forth between your colors and work on the blending, especially when you're doing colors that don't seamlessly blend together. So you'll see me do that here, going back in with the pink and just softening out the edge between those 2 colors of the pink and purple, and then also the pink and the orange. So once I had it how I liked it, it was time for more splatter. So of course I'm going to do water, and this, I don't know, I got crazy with the water. It wasn't coming out how I wanted, and then I just got a ton, and sometimes you just have to go with it, right? And then I did not do Pixie spray on this one. I'm going to use a different form of shimmer on this card. But here you see me adding on some candy to the background. This is from our Pumpkin Candy Bucket die set. So cute. I just wanted these 2 pieces of candy to kind of look like they were thrown up in the air. And I thought the ghost would cover up mostly the rest, but you'll see me add a few more pieces. Okay, now back to the Simply Sentimental Halloween. This die set that goes with it not only cuts out the word Halloween that you stamp, but also you can cut out the individual words of Halloween and glue them onto the die that cuts out the stamped Halloween, creating a shadow layer for it. It's very cool. And then of course it has all these sub-sentiments. So I'm putting Halloween, no tricks, all treats. And also, I don't know why I was being so crazy here, just like eyeballing this. It worked out pretty good in the end, but I really should have brought in the Misty. But sometimes I just feel like I've got to break the rules. I'm in such a good frame of mind, like the mojo is flowing. I can't be bothered to stop and get out the Misty. I just have to go for it. So that's what I was doing. But in hindsight, it was scary. I should have really pulled out the Misty on that one. Okay, I popped up the word Halloween, and I popped up my little ghost, of course, because I love dimension on my cards. And then I glued this down to my A2 size card base, and now it's time for that shimmer I was talking about. I just went over the top of the candy pieces and added a little bit of shimmer to them. I thought it was a really fun look. And then that finishes up the ghost card. I would love to know which one you like best, the ghost or the witch. And then maybe you could think of some other Halloween kind of gnomes you could make with this die set. You could probably play with some things and come up with something really fun. So that is the new oh so scary gnome die set, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and maybe you're ready to start creating some Halloween projects as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon with a brand new video right here on Trinity Stamps. And until then, come see us on Instagram and Facebook too. Bye!